Hello, my second grade class. So we're gonna do something really simple with our watercolor palettes, okay? So today I'm gonna show you how to put the paint on your paper. Obviously you paint, but it's a little more than that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through techniques, or just one for today, so it's not too much. I'm gonna show you a few minutes of a video first, and then I will cover how to do the technique yourself. So what you're gonna need is you need a small cup of water. Sorry, it was a little loud. Then you're gonna need 2 different types of brushes. So they both can be the same round shape, or they can be like this shape you'll need for sure. Or you can have one that is this shape. Doesn't really matter to me, just because we are going over techniques today. So what we're gonna do is you need 2 brushes, at least 2. You can have more than 2 if you want. Then you need your paper, and it doesn't have to be watercolor paper, but just make sure it's thicker, because we're doing water, so we don't want it to seep through, make a mess, just get everywhere. Okay, so I'm gonna show you the video really quick, and we'll just do a few minutes of how to do a technique, and then I will cover it with you guys. Oh, okay, ready? Okay, there they didn't use enough pigment. So in this one, they're showing how to use more pigment, meaning you have the brush less wet. There's it with water. There's kinds of watercolor paper you can use. Okay, it's pigmented. And so the technique that we're going to use today is lifting. So you grab a piece of tissue and you just dab it on, and it shows the lift. And you can do this with any color. It doesn't have to be blue, but they just use blue. But it shows different things you can do with it, because obviously this one just has one mark, this one has several, and this one kind of looks like clouds. This one could be like a mountain kind of thing. So yeah, so we're gonna work on that today. So what I'm gonna do really quick is go back, move you guys back over here so you can see me perfectly and see my paper. It's not super great, but I know that you can see it a little bit. Okay, that's a little better. Okay, so what we're gonna do is grab this one first, just our typical round one, and we're gonna dip it in our water. But when we dip it, I don't want to see you guys going like this. Don't do that. That's really bad on the brushes. So what we're gonna do is just kind of softly paint the bottom, dab it, okay? And instead of having it drip like that, you can just gently wipe it on the side, and then move your dish out of the way so you don't spill it. Then you're gonna choose a color. For my example, you know what? I think we're gonna go with orange. Gonna mix it up a little bit. It matches my brush. That's crazy. I did not do that on purpose, but that was a cool little link. Okay, so I can't technically tip it, but so there's water in this, and you just kind of keep brushing it. It's kind of like you're painting it without painting the paper yet. So you kind of just mix it around a tiny bit to activate the paint, and then what you're going to do is you're going to put it on this part right here. So this is your built-in palette, and your lid will pop off so that you can wash it. Yeah, it just makes it a lot easier, because then it's already here. You don't have to worry about grabbing more utensils and tools details and then the cleaning mess. So it's a really nice thing. Okay, so what we're gonna do is, I think I'm gonna do 2 colors. So like in the video, you're just gonna paint this huge thing. Make sure you get like a lot of enough water on your brush because you don't want it to be too much. And then you're just gonna take your tissue and dab it a little bit. And you can push hard or you can push light. It just depends on what you want. I think I'm gonna just try to like make clouds. And if you mess up a little bit, it's okay because you can like paint over it again and then dab a little less.
A skin graft.
Okay. That's okay. So, okay, then with your brush, I'm gonna actually change my color. Because on this one, you can see it, how it's like a little bit of a mountain. Not really. We're gonna do a different color because that was a bad example on my part. So again, with your brush, if it's dripping, you don't want it. So you just softly press it against this, but you want to see that it's shiny because then that means you have enough water. So if it's not dripping, you're holding it. The brush is holding it, which is keeping it in, which will allow you to paint better with it. We'll do black. Yeah, black's a great color to show an example. Make sure it's saturated, because it's really hard if you don't have enough paint on your brush, which was kind of the problem with this one, and it's not dark enough. So instead of just using black, let's make use of this orange that I already have. So you can just mix this together too to make other colors. That's like a dark greenish orange. But yeah. Also, you can get these paints like a ton of places. There's actually different levels of watercolor too. So this is just your basic palette that any grade could use at all. And there's like pro palettes. It's insane. There's like all sorts of different colors you can have, all sorts of different like tones. Oh my goodness, it's so fancy. Paints get so fancy, it's crazy. Okay, so yeah, she got a little more black because it wasn't dark enough. Okay, then remember to dab your brush on the bottom gently, push it against the side. Okay, now you're gonna grab your tissue. Let's see if I can make a flower this time. Okay, kinda. We can work with it. Yeah, okay. Cool. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna paint a tiny bit more because it's not dark enough around. And then I'll pick it up again. And that's one thing I love about this technique so much. It's such a handy technique because you can reapply paint and pick it up as long as your paper doesn't start bumping up like this. I have close enough to watercolor paper, but I don't have full-on watercolor paper. So be better than what the paper I chose. And again, it showed examples. You could get like the 2 they showed, but they have a ton of different kinds of watercolor. So yeah, there's a flower. You see it? Yeah, it's super, like, it's fairly simple. You just have your tissue and then your watercolors, again your paintbrush, and then your water. So we're gonna quickly do some like details with the tiny paintbrush. Okay, again, just make sure it's not too covered with water or it won't work as well. And then what you can do is you can go in and add those details. Like whoosh, 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 whoosh. I like to make noises because it helps me focus sometimes. Usually we like to add detail when it's a little more dry, just because I'll show you what's happening. and this is not what you want. So here's flour, but right here, right, you see how it's leaking and seeping in there? That's because I'm not being patient and waiting. So you want to make sure you wait until it's dry, and then you can add on your detail. Also, really cool thing with these is if this dries on your lid and you're like, dang it, like I really wanted to use the rest of that color, I don't know how to make it again, you could always ask for help, but also you can just use water to reactivate that. But yeah, that is my technique I'm going to teach you guys, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of your lesson. Bye!